I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for the virtual coffee connection. And so um, I'd encourage you to share this with somebody else. Um, do you both realize that subconsciously we don't want anybody else to join us?
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but we also invite, but yeah,
So, but when we subconsciously don't want somebody to join us when we're inviting, it might impact the invite. Do you either of you know why we don't want other people subconsciously to join?
we have such a good vibe and energy amongst the three of us.
It's just crazy, right?
Mhm.
And it's just like a family. When you bring a new little baby in, it changes the time. How can this little precious thing change everything else? So, Melissa, she just had a little baby girl. So she has three girls and a boy. And it's just fascinating how that little one um, has changed everything. Like it's just like the dynamics have has just changed everything. It's just interesting. And so the same thing is true in a coffee connection as well. And so you don't really want other people, but if you're listening to this, like we want you, um, it's helpful. Like Amy, how would you describe like like what type of an individual would be best to join this group?
Rock stars want to be by other rock stars. Those people on mission with big goals, big dreams, not someone that's just waffling in their business with indecision. I think that's part of it.
This is what I love about Amy. Just rip it off. No foreplay. Rip that off. Just you know what? If you're not a rock star, don't join us. Like just she didn't say that, but that's kind of Mark. Like Nora always come early, always stay late because Nora gave Amy, but not everybody joining. Mark's a little interesting today. Not that he's not every I don't know. There's rock stars there. It's not, we're not looking for, we're not looking for people who are, like egomaniacs that want to talk. Like, it's not that. Like, like significant conversations on, what we're going to do to change our businesses, put systems in place and change the world. Like, that's, it's
But
down to business.
changing the world takes rock star status, though, Mark. You
Well,
can't just
yeah,
be
but
satisfied in your business. Like, and we all know business owners that are like, well, we're doing okay, and I'm okay with that. I don't want anything more. I just want to keep the status quo. And we know if you're at the status quo, you're not growing, you're going backwards.
right. And so it's like, so if you're one of those kind of people that always has a reason for not doing everything, you're going to struggle in this group. Like if you want to just jump on and listen, I guess you can do that. It's not a problem. Be careful not to go ahead and, especially as a man, just saying, men tend to have this tendency where they have egos and they want to come on and they want to impress everybody. That just doesn't work so good. Like in this group, it just doesn't. So, Amy, what you got for us today?
We had a great conversation the other day talking about our processes and like how my process maybe became broken because we thought we were going to do something to streamline one of our processes with our discovery meeting. Um, but also giving up right before we get 3 inches from the gold or 3 feet from the gold from that YouTube video. And if we want to talk about that more, because I think business owners do tend to give up right before the breakthrough. And I've been in the same position. We just give up and
Well,
pivot because we didn't get a breakthrough.
well, I think what you're meaning to say, Amy, and again,
Yeah.
you and I we haven't known each other for a long time, but my guess is that's not true about you. My guess is you've been like me and you feel like giving up, you just don't.
True. But I feel
And
like, I don't know, we do abandon stuff sometimes. I'll give you my example, my boxed up branding. We've had it up and running for 2 years. We've not sold one. We've abandoned that program. We're getting back to our core services.
Do you think though that like Tom Coons, he said about me, he said, Mark, you're very different from other people. I always find that intriguing, like how so? And he says, and it's only time in 22 years. You and I are like this. He says, most people are quick start, quick stop, slow start, slow stop. So that's how most people are. And I've noticed that. Like somebody jumps in and they're like, okay, I'm all motivated. I'm like, are you gonna have the stamina to stick with something? And or people that are slow start, slow stop, and he said, Mark, you and I are unusual in that you and I are quick start, slow stop. So I think my weakness, Amy, and I don't know if this is with you, but my weakness, I think, is quick start, never stop. Like I don't give up, and I should. I mean, like we did a podcast yesterday. It was really fascinating on decision making, and I don't give up on people, and I don't give up on things. I just don't. I think I should. I don't know.
Well, there's some things worth sticking it out. Like my company is 10 years old, and ever since I started it, I wanted to franchise, and we're just now doing it. So that's a sticking through, right? And the franchising part's really hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but we're
Oh,
still moving forward.
right, right. So I think if you're a business owner and you feel like giving up, um, my advice to you is don't give up on the thing. Like maybe you give up on things, but don't give up on the thing. Whatever the thing is, don't give up on the thing. And and so the 3 feet from gold is a crazy cool video. And what's interesting about that video is, the guy had a couple of things. One is the guy was like 3 feet from gold. Like he was 3 feet from being very wealthy, and he didn't have the expertise. That's where I think coaching comes into play. Like you just don't know. Like he didn't know. What's really fascinating is he gave up. Somebody else came in and became very wealthy because he gave up, and then he went on to do what? Sell insurance. and it, and he gave back all of the investors their money through some other method. And so he learned from that situation, and that went ahead and created tremendous wealth and tremendous success for him. I think on I don't think I've covered on this one here. Um, oh, what's it called now? I can't believe I just lost it. Um, I learned this concept in computer programming, and simple to complex to simple principle. So what happens in a business is we simplify things, and as we simplify things, when we do it properly, when we simplify things and do it properly, we gain profitability, efficiency. Everything's going really good. And so we get to the top and we're like, we have got a smoking hot business. You can visualize the ooh, um, first time a client had ever, one of Nora's new clients asked, he went ahead and had an executive x-ray. Um, and, and I've been wanting to do this, forever. Um, and he's the first one that's ever asked. So he's looking at this here. He's like, are those mine? And I said, no. He said, I'd like to see mine. And I'm like, so I've wanted to do this for literally years, maybe 10 years, and nobody's ever asked for it. And he asked for it. And so he got it in part because he did the because he did the executive x-ray, he got his money's worth. Like, boy, did he get his money's worth, which is great. But in this here, um, so in simple to complex to simple principle, Um, but we go ahead and simplify it, and then human nature, especially the rock stars, they want to they want more. Like when I was tracked at $5,000 an hour, I wanted more. Like, hey, okay, good team, we got 5,000. That's right, great. How do we get to 10? And then I was tracked at $155,000 an hour. I've shared that story, I'm pretty sure, before. So we want more. We want more, and so what happens is we add complexity, and it doesn't give us more; it gives us less. I mean, it gives us more stress. It gives us less money, more expenses. So what happens is we go ahead and start going through this. This is the 3 feet from gold. And then we just get tired and exhausted and we go back to here. Then we get frustrated because we want to be here. But to get here, to go from here to here, we've got to go through what some can call the shadow of the valley of death. And then we go here and we make less money and it's terrible and it's terrible and it's terrible. And there's only a few, and I don't know that they're lucky or not. They're kind of stupid, probably like Amy and I. And we hit the bottom, and then we just get ticked. We just get mad. Like we just, doggone it. Like I'm going to go ahead. And so what you do is you take 80-20, you take the 90-10, you take the 10-20% of the best, and then you like a slingshot. And if I had to do it over, this complex is like a longer, like it should be here. And then the simple, you just get mad. So how do you go ahead and kind of even out? You're always going to have some dip, but how do you not make it so severe? Here's how to do it. Here's the secret. And this is worth its weight in gold. I'm just telling you. And this is what happens when you get the energy of the three of us. And so I don't know. Maybe we make a rule that if you join us, you don't say anything for 2 or 3 weeks. Because, I mean, just so you can get into flow, get into the energy. I don't know. But this here is worth its weight in gold. Move to complex sooner than you have to. Reduce the time. Like Amy doesn't have to franchise now. She's choosing to go through the labor pains before she has to. And then reduce the time we're in complex, meaning figure out how to be complex without the complexity. Use the 80-20 rule to find out the best of the complexity and then master. And I was talking to one of the programmers over in India, and one of the programs they were writing crashed, and I said, "Why?" Like he says, "Well, we didn't anticipate that it was going to get so many uses. Like it was bigger than what we thought." I said, "I gave you the requirements of 8 billion people. How can it?" He laughed and then he said, "Well, Mark, it's easier to let it crash for him. Um, it's easier to let it crash and then we optimize it. This is especially hard for Nora and me." Why is that? Harder for Nora than me, but hard for me.
Is it the analytic?
It's the analytic. The analytic. And so Nora's a double analytic. So she's the highest analytic you can be. And I'm an analytic driver, so I'm not a double analytic, but I'm really analytic. So it's hard for her and I because we're like, well, you can see this and prevent it. And it's like, well, like Elon Musk, it's just weird. Like he blows up a rocket and then it starts a 200-acre fire. Like burns a whole bunch. Nobody dies. Long as nobody dies. It's like, well, sometimes you just got to try stuff out. And it's like, aren't there computer simulations? Aren't there? Nope. You just got to blow it up. It's like, wow, that's interesting. And so, questions, Amy, or thoughts?
This is great. And it's a good reminder too. And I love too that you have back there level one, the module, right? Because sometimes we break down our simple system and that's the tripping point because we try to make it more complex or we make
So
it.
this is what I'd recommend. In looking at the new system, the old system, I would do a hybrid between the two. And when you're asking questions, there's a science to it. Like if you ask people 4 questions, it's like a phone number. If you ask people 4 questions and you alter question 2 or 3, it comes up with a totally different results. Most people don't know that. Like a phone number. Well, I had the same numbers. Yeah, you alter one, you switch 2 numbers, you get a totally different destination. I mean,
Yes.
totally different. Same thing is true with questions. And so typically you want the easy questions on the up front, and then you want the hardest questions in the middle, the ones that pierce the deepest, and then you want the easy questions on the end. So easy, hard, and then easy. Um, so in looking at both of those series, uh, I would have some hybrid. I would try, like with me, I'm continuing to fine tune. So what keeps me in line is, Mark, you have 3 minutes for level one, whatever you can get in 3 minutes. Then you have 11 minutes. And then you have 14 minutes or 16 minutes. So you have 3, 11, and 16. So a half an hour. And I can't go beyond a half an hour. And so what I do is, even, 30 years after developing the 30-minute strategy session in partnership with Life Masteries Institute, even now, like, it's crazy how I'm doing it. And I've done it so many times, and like I can do it in my sleep, but I'm still like, how can I tweak it to make it more efficient? I still have to stay within 30 minutes. I still have 3 minutes, 11 minutes, and 16 minutes. So how do I do it? And how do I make it just absolutely magical? So I think you guys are on the right path. I think you're just kind of going back and forth on it. And a lot of times we do have to take 2 steps backwards to take 3 steps forward. And the sooner we can do that. So it's really cool you picked that up so quick. That's awesome. Anything else, Amy, you got today?
Nope. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Nora, what would you like to accomplish today?
I would say probably the biggest thing I'm working with now is just trying to figure out, like, I feel like I've got this like momentum
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Like, how do I keep it? Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of feel like I don't know if it's just a gut feeling, but at some point it's just gonna drop and then I don't know. How do I keep it going?
So whole things is in martial arts. So I took Taekwondo in high school, and in martial arts, all martial arts, one of the first things they teach you is how to fall, because you're going to fall. You don't get hurt by falling. You get hurt. You get hurt because you don't know how to fall. So you're probably going to go ahead and fall. You're going to drop off, and so it's okay. It's not the end of what you just get back up on the horse. So that's really important for you to do. That doesn't mean we don't work to prevent the fall. That doesn't mean that at all. It's just, I think a lot of times when people, you know, failure, like, there's 12 principles to life masteries. There's 500 natural laws, but we had these 12 principles to life masteries all around our house in big posters when we were doing the homeschooling of the 7 kids. And it's a mindset. We wanted to teach the kids a mindset. There were 12 of the 500 natural laws. That these are the 12 most important mindsets for you kids to have. And one of them is, failure is always a choice. It's never an event. It's a choice that we make. And there's only 2 ways you can fail. And that's fail to try and fail to learn. Those are the only 2 ways to fail. You don't fail by making mistakes. That's part of life. You fail because you don't try. And that's a brutal way to fail, because when you don't try, you don't even know you fail. And so you can't learn. You get stuck or locked. And so you're not learning, you're not growing because you're not failing. The other is brutal too, and that is you fail to learn. So people, shoot themselves in their right foot, and then they shoot themselves in the left foot. And I'm like, did you not learn from? Well, it's different. Yes, technically it's different. It's a different foot you shot yourself, but you should be able to see. Don't shoot yourself in the foot, and people do. And so one is just be ready for it when it does. It's no big deal. You do whatever to get back on track, and you're fine. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The other way to help reduce that failure or the impact of, well, not the failure, to reduce the crash, like a lot of what you've learned in flying applies to this too. Like every landing that you have is not going to go picture perfect. But just because it doesn't go picture perfect, just because it's a little scary, a little messy, little thing on what it is, that doesn't mean you give up. It just means, okay, sometimes stuff in life, like sometimes there's mistakes, the pilots make, and it's a rough landing. Sometimes it's not their mistake at all. It's just, there's wind and there's this and there's this. There's no way they could have prevented it from happening. And so you just go ahead and say, okay, am I going to give up because life threw me something really hard? And so here's how you go ahead and minimize the chance of the big failure, the one that kills you, or to go ahead and just realize, hey, stuff's not always happening. So the roller coaster principle, that one, right?
Yeah.
And you know, so consistent actions produce consistent results. Inconsistent actions produce inconsistent results. And so it's the first natural law that I discovered was the roller coaster principle. So there's two. One, you see the results. It's very clear in sales. You see the results. Effort, you don't see that. But through action vision coaching, you can. And through Top Gun, uh, and the PPA, the pressure point analysis, you can see this stuff. So you put them over each other and you can see there's efforts. We get started on something new, a new business, new something, new relationship. Everything's pumped up, excited, motivated. You're inspired and your results are low. And then all of a sudden you keep doing the right actions over the right period of time in the right way with the right people, and your results go up. And when your results go up, often the efforts go down. So this happens in business, it happens in sales, it happens in relationships. And so, you know, when I'm dating my wife and engaged to my wife, lots of dates, lots of all kinds of fun stuff. And then we get married, and then, well, now I gotta make money for, and then we're going to college and we're doing all this stuff. And then we have kids, and we have more kids, more. And so it's harder. And so it's why, and so the efforts go down sometimes because we're lazy, sloppy, undisciplined, pathetic, just stupid. Sometimes it's just life. It just happens. And so, we've had date nights on Friday nights for as long as I can remember in our marriage, decades. We've gone to marriage seminars when we didn't need them, and so consistent. So how do you break the roller coaster or minimize the impact of it? It's actions. It's consistent actions. Consistent actions produce consistent results. So I think what you do, Nora, is on the sales stuff, you look at not going below a minimum. So you pounded it out yesterday, 100, you've been running, you started out at 20%. And then you bumped it up to 30 and then 40%. Yesterday, you got 110%. So you're not going to do 110% every time. Well, you will actually, as you get stronger, more disciplined, you have systems in place and that kind of stuff. And then the old ceiling is the new floor. But you say, I'm not going to go below whatever that number is. So you just say, I'm never, like, I might go ahead, but shoot, short of death, I'm always going to get whatever. So you always keep something going no matter what. Like you push through it no matter what. Like I don't know if I've shared, I think with you, Nora, I have through the Top Gun, but I don't think Amy's about the 7 business cards with Tom Kuntz. I don't think I've shared that one.
Nope, I have not heard about that.
So that guy, one of the top producers in Century 21, with Tom Kuntz, and he said to his wife when he was, I think, in his early 30s, he said, "Honey, I figured out what I need to do to be successful and get it to where I never have to work again in life, and it's going to take me 12 years. It's something like that. It could be more or less, but he said 12 years to do that. So by the time I'm 42." But it's important that I'm going to miss some of the baseball games and some of the major events, but I'm going to go ahead and not have to work after 42. And Tom Kuntz went ahead and said, and he did almost nailed it to the day. What his secret was, he said, he figured out pressure point analysis. We won't go into details on that now, but we can another time. He went ahead and figured out he had to give out 7 cards every day. Business cards every day. Talk to 7 people a day, and he had to do that. One night at like 11 o'clock, he's getting into bed, and he goes to take his pants off, and he reaches in his pocket, and there's 3 cards. He only gave out 4 cards. So what did he do? Well, what would you do? What would Mark do? I'd rationalize, I'll just give out 3 more tomorrow. It's 11 o'clock. He didn't do that. He put his pants back, put his shirt back, went down to his 7-Eleven and sat there until 3 people came in and he gave out 3 more cards. So we don't realize, like, that's just massive discipline. In Good to Great, the book by Jim Collins, he talks about, great companies, great groups like this group. It consists of disciplined people, disciplined thinkers, and discipline in taking action. And so we're going through, there's a new Top Gun boot camp, and this thing's daily, and it's really, it's really cool. And again, it's in development, it's going through, but I don't know what the pricing will be, because it's in development, they're testing out and everything, but this is what it is now. And so everybody should be in it. I mean, everybody, it's got a basic level, and it is crazy what his capabilities will be. So I think you set a minimum floor, Nora, you set a minimum floor and say, I'm going to do this no matter what every day. And you give yourself no room. And you just say, okay, here's my goal, but here's my commitment. Does that help, Nora?
Yeah, it does.
Anything else that either of you have?
I think that 7 people a day is an excellent idea, by the way.
Right? Tom's got the coolest thing.
I
wish
mean,
I
yeah.
wish it wasn't 3 o'clock in the morning where he's at. Because I'm telling you, but when you oversee the largest real estate franchise in the world, over 140,000 agents, man, you get some dang good stories. He's got so many of them that it's like, that's so simple, but it's so profound. Yeah. Anything else that either of you have?
No.
No.
So you both have a question, and the question is, so Mark, what do you have for us today?
Yeah,
What do
Mark.
you want to? Yeah, thanks. I'm working on this here. So you guys know the next dimension principle, the 4 levels of coaching, cheerleader, teacher, coach, Navy SEAL. So which one do you want? And then there's a dimensional gap. In the dimensional gap is going from one dimension to the next dimension. And so it's invisible, but there's something there. I can feel it. Oh, but it's invisible. So I'm working on that. And so this is the ratchet principle. And so the ratchet principle, so we're going up, we're going up to the next dimension. And here we go. And then we make the jump to the next dimension. If we don't ratchet in, because we get to the top and it's comfortable up here. Like there's no more resistance. We're pretty happy up here. We're pretty happy, and this is what it is, you know. And but then we make the jump. Now we have friction. It's so much easier to go back. If we don't ratchet that in, we're going to fall back, and if we fall back, we're going to slide down. And so at 62, 9 businesses, don't have to work, don't have to make money. I can feel the shift in energy in the last 3-4 years. I'm like, Mark, do you really want to do this again? Like, like, and my 27-year-old son, my 27-year-old son's not helping me because he's like, Dad, why don't you be like like get an RV, travel around with mom, and just enjoy life? Which I don't know. So what I'm trying to figure out is this invisible gap here where people tend to go ahead and slide down. Like they don't realize it. They make progress. Amy knows, and Nora probably 3 years old, maybe, but she'll get more experience where your kids they succeed and then they slide back down. It's so frustrating. It's like, come on, you got to ratchet that thing in. If you guys have any thoughts on that, connect with me. This week, email me for sure. It's cool when you're connected throughout the week for sure. If you have any questions on anything we covered today, feel free to connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300, outside the U.S. 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.